at the 39 of the Colts. He wants to throw it deep, and he throws it down the right sideline. Deontay Johnson diving for the end zone, and he caught it for the touchdown. A 39-yard strike on 1st and 10. Ben to Deontay Johnson.
He's back. Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. If you like the channel, please make sure you subscribe now and check out our Patreon for exclusives and merch. Well, friends, we enter this one feeling a little down in the dumps after the Steelers' stunning 11-0 start has confoundingly turned into a 3-game losing streak. Is this the end of the road for Big Ben? Just another December collapse for Mike T? Let's see what we got. Start this one the only way our offense knows how, with a 3-and-out on 3 straight short throws that fall hopelessly incomplete. Not what you'd call a hot start, but how many times this year have we even done that? Over to defense now, and even if you feel down about the rest of the team, you should take solace in the fact that TJ Watt continues to be the most impactful defensive player in the league, and I'm going to preemptively respond to everyone who simply comments Aaron Donald in the comments. This Steelers fan sends you a resounding Nicely executed pick play by the Colts springs Pittman for a chunk, and suddenly Old Man Rivers and the Colts are on the move. Looks to me like the usually solid Edmonds misses his coverage here, and the Colts are methodically galloping down the field. Just domination up front against the downtrodden and depleted Steelers D, with a gash by Hines and an obvious run play up the middle against a front that's on their heels, and quicker than you can say that was easy. The Colts are on the board 7-0, and with the state of the Steelers offense, it feels like 20-0. Slant play finally works, and so do Deontay Johnson's hands, and mercifully the Steelers offense grabs a first down. Classic bugaboo moment though, as of course they face, of all things, a 3rd and 1, and they even bring in the fullback like half of Twitter keeps screaming at me, and it's going nowhere. It's hard not to point out that Big Al has been pretty brutal of late. Villanueva grabs the tablet to quickly Google how to run block, and the Steelers punt it back to fill in the boys. Because the football gods love making points, the Colts face a 3rd and 1, and get it. Imagine that. A little creativity helps to grab a yard. Would it be that nuts to have a package for Dobbs to do this sort of thing? Awesome coverage play by my guy Mini Mike Hilton, who can't turn and look for the ball, so he gets his hands up without interfering with TY and knocks it away blind. Just an awesome play by an awesome player. This one made me wonder if Ben forgot Chooks' Christmas present, because he doesn't even consider blocking the splitzer and nearly gets his 38-year-old quarterback killed in the process. The futility continues, and the Steelers haven't scored in the first quarter since that weird-ass time they played on a Wednesday. Yikes. Ben hits Ebron short on 3rd and forever and snaps his chin strap off with just a little extra oomph as we head into the second quarter. Thank God for the defense though, as 2020 Defensive Player of the Year TJ Watt fights through the block for the strip sack on the 3rd best quarterback from the 04 draft class, and Mike Hilton scoops the recovery but can't quite score. Love the turnover, and maybe it'll be just the thing, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't bummed he didn't score. In a series that couldn't be more emblematic of the last month of Steelers football, they go nowhere on the run, can't hit a slant, and a poor throw and or drop ball by Juju. Luckily, they get another shot on a penalty, and James Conner smashes it in for his first touchdown since November 1st, and maybe, just maybe, there's a pulse. One of the things dogging the Steelers lately has been the coverage abilities of the inside linebackers, which you can understand with the injuries they faced. Never thought you'd hear me say this at the start of the season, but I sincerely hope Robert Spillane makes it back for the playoffs. While I rarely knock Steve Nelson because he's normally solid and I hate saying my own name, but rough play here as he takes a little stumble at the top of the route and T.Y. Hilton eats his breakfast and lunch. Another thing I don't often get nitpicky about is holding calls, but this is perhaps the most obviously missed holding call in the history of professional football, and I still can't get over it even knowing everything else that happened today. But you might as well take it out of the rule book if you're not going to call this. Used to be the Keenan Allen special, but now it's the T.Y. Hilton special as Phil finds the soft spot in the zone for another first, and the Colts are again on the move. On 3rd and 3, it's Jonathan Taylor, and I don't mean the kid from Home Improvement, who finds some room for a first, then takes him down to the 1, and embarrasses the Steelers' once prideful front on his way to his second score of the half. This guy is an impressive runner. Colts 14, Steelers 7. Needing to get something going, Ben does his best Favre impression by chucking it into triple coverage, but luckily it falls to the ground. While there are definitely questions about Ben's physical ability of late, his mental game has also taken a step back recently, and I'm not sure how you explain that for a 17-year vet, other than that he's pressing. Hopelessly futile crosser to Deontay that doesn't even hit the blue, let alone the yellow line, and I'd say the Steelers' offense is spinning its tires in the mud, but at this point, I'm not sure I see wheels, tires, or even mud. Oh, and just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Rivers evades the rush, steps up, and fires deep to a streaking Zach Pascal who cooks Joe Hayden like a roast on Christmas, and the Colts are up 21-7. If this isn't one of the lowest points of the Roethlisberger-Tomlin era, it sure felt like it at the time. Ben hits a few rhythm throws to Juju and Connor, but the drive stalls out after 2 throws filed firmly under the bad category for number 7, and with 2 out of the last 3 halves looking about as terrible as they have, I regretfully must admit this diehard fan is questioning whether our hero has enough gas left in the tank. Absolutely infuriating sequence here from Mike T, who is not above criticism in this, his 3rd straight December collapse. Colts take over with 1:46 on the clock, and the Steelers refuse to use any of their 3 timeouts, which, in case you didn't know, you don't get to keep. And the clock winds and winds to next to nothing, despite the Colts getting 0 first downs. I'm not sure if he was trying to send a message to his team or what, but this will, regardless of this game or season, live on in my memory as one of the most baffling and, in my opinion, horrendous game management situations of the Mike Tomlin era. The Steelers jog into halftime as a rudderless and leaking ship. Never before have I felt more hopeless about a 21-7 deficit with Ben Roethlisberger playing, and believe me, I hate saying that out loud, let alone on YouTube. On to the 3rd quarter now, and any fan would have to wonder what was said in the room at halftime in Tomlin's words.
We need to get the group that's on this grass going.
Because the group on the grass still doesn't have any interest in playing well, it's another wide open tight end, this time Mo Alley Cox, followed by another gash up the gut by the rookie Jonathan Taylor, and before we can even catch our breath, the Colts have taken 5 minutes and gotten into the red zone. Credit to the defense here as they finally stiffen. They hold Hines to 7 on 2nd, and then on 3rd it's Do It To It and TJ meeting for a prearranged lunch date at the statue of Phillip Rivers, I mean the actual Phillip Rivers, and holds him to 3. But at this point, a 17-point lead against the Steelers offense might as well be a million. But you know what, guys? I may be down, but I am never out on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Finally, a short yardage conversion following a nice pull by Dotson, and you know things might be turning around when that happens. Apparently, Ben just remembered that he has a 6'5" giant who wears number 11, and he hits him for a first. Then he remembers again and slings a seed of a direct deposit to chase the bank, and the Steelers are approaching the business zone. Because dinosaurs love business, Ben slings it to Ebron for a first and goal. The Steelers have a pulse, and for the first time in a month, I'm not talking about the one pounding in my right temple. Steelers obviously fail to run it in on first, follow it up with an incompletion to the Abrontosaurus, an unforgivable drop by the rookie, and we're set up for a do-or-die 4th down, again with less than 2 yards to go. Ben's just a hair late on this throw to J-Wash, and just when you thought things were getting better, the offense again comes away with no points. Luckily, if you're a Steelers fan, they get a quick 3 and out and put the now somewhat on their heels Colts defense right back out there. We've been saying for weeks now, where, oh where has our beloved Large Benjamin gone? And on 1st and 10, we get an answer. The man they call Roethlisberger gets the snap, passes up the easy underneath throw, and chucks a bomb to former drop artist, now diving touchdown artist Deontay Johnson for the sudden and dramatic score, which meant so much more than 7 points. Talk about 2 guys who needed something to help them believe. This score could not come at a better time or by a better pair than 7 and 18. Colts 24, Steelers 14. Momentum is a wild thing, and Avery Williamson, of all people, channels a little Troy Polamalu with the otherworldly snap timing and sack on Old Man Rivers. Puts him behind and down in distance, and I never thought I would have said this half an hour ago, but I'm suddenly excited for Big Ben and the offense to go back out there. More Connor out of the backfield, and I, for one, am so f***ing here for it, as he's a much better checkdown valve than he gets credit for. Steelers head into the 4th down 10, but decidedly winning the momentum battle. Apparently, Ben finally got it through his head that good things happen when you go deep, as Deontay Johnson beats his man and gets held, and one play into the final stanza, the Steelers are threatening. First and goal, and it's a little toss out to the Brontosaurus, who is in a very friendly mood today and plows into the end zone to make this a 3-point game. Love to see the blocking here from Juju, and holy hell, what a turnaround for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Undeniably impressive, but do they have enough? Now, I love me some Vince Williams, but I am going to go absolutely insane every single time I see him in one-on-one coverage. It's just not what he's good at, and he will continue to get beat when you put him in that spot. 3rd and 5, and a statue quarterback against a pair of bookends like Do It To It, and the one and only Bam Bam Cam is eventually gonna do this. Great coverage lets To It collapse the pocket, and Cam's there to clean it up. Just one of those moments you needed. Back to Ben, and if you're like me, you've seen this tape a few times in the last 17 years. Suddenly the quick passing game is working, and so even is the short yardage running. The very trustworthy Brontosaurus gets in on the action too, and the Colts don't know what way is up, and the Steelers are no longer heating up. They are, for the first time in many moons, absolutely f***ing cooking. You know, something crazy is going on when suddenly the Steelers are running the ball, but as unbelievable as it is, they are moving at will. In trouble though on 2nd and 15, and holy shit, Randy called up the ghost of Ron Earhart to find this screenplay straight from the 1994 playbook, and I know it was just a 10-yard gain, but let me have my moment. 3rd and 5, and it's back to Connor, and as I said earlier, the guy is a great receiver. I never understood why we felt the need to put in Jalen on passing stuff. At least Connor can power over somebody once he gets it. Uh-oh alert. Chase takes the route a hair deep and Ben misfires, and oh no, but a little contact by the 6'5" giant knocks the defender just barely off course from grabbing an extremely fateful pick six. And goddamn do I both hate and love football so much. Steelers get another penalty, this time an illegal contact on Xavier Rhodes, and that brings us into the red zone and to our
5-star play of the game.
Not even quite midway through the 4th. Ben stays in the gun. Shotgun snap. He pumps, throws it down the middle of the field. That's Juju Smith-Schuster pulling it in for the Steelers. Go-ahead touchdown. From 25 out, Ben threw a strike, and Juju took care of the rest. Julian Blackman, the free safety, says, where did he come from?
After a week of so much consternation about our favorite TikTok influencer, after so much was said, mean-spirited or otherwise, that 23-year-old kid with too many names runs a hell of a damn route, and that legendary quarterback who we were ready to send out to pasture just 2 quarters ago hits him with a high, and I mean Snoop Dogg type high level pump fake and throw, and unbelievably, impossibly, insanely, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the lead 28-24 with half a quarter to go. Luckily, TJ is able to slow down Hines on this one, or he would have had a huge chunk, and I gotta say I'm quite impressed with the Colts backfield. 1st and 10 now, and finally it's an outside backer not named TJ Watt beating his man, and the rookie Mr. Highsmith does Woodley's jersey proud and forces a terrible decision and throw by Phillip Rivers, who may have the highest child output of the 04 draft class, but will forever be 3rd best at winning. Great play on the back end by Mike to secure, and man, if I had one Christmas wish, it would be for Kevin Colbert to find the money to keep that man. Time to eat that clock, not something we've wanted to do much of recently. Obviously in rhythm and trusting his guy, Ben hits Juju for a trio, but he comes up just short, setting up, you guessed it, a 3rd and 1. Ben comes up under center and audibles to what looks like a run, and he pulls it and hits that man they call Juju for a clutch conversion in a tight space. Hate on whatever you want about Juju's personality, that's your take. But the guy is a great football player. Steelers run out of luck though on the next 3rd and short, and an outstanding defensive play by Rhodes stops Deontay short of the line to gain. Looks like Phil gets one more shot. More Hines out of the backfield gets him started, and at this point they're not running, might as well put Cam Sutton in at dime backer. 3rd and 6, Rivers gets some time and slings it, but if you can believe it, this time the other team drops it as Trey Burton can't make the catch over Nelson, and the Colts are down to their last gas on 4th and 6. Rivers gets way too much time but lofts a lame duck out that's picked by Steve Nelson, but don't get too excited because it's the NFL and it's a game-changing pass play. Of course there's a flag. Phil gets a do-over, and this time he chucks it over the middle, and it's oh so close to being picked by the always trustworthy Mink Man, who makes this catch 9 times out of 10. Still a great play, but you always expect it to get made when you see number 39. Battling with Nelson all day, TY again gets the better of him on a little contact and a lot of crossover, and we're officially entering oh shit territory. Can the offense really come back like this, and then the defense blow it? Would be very 2020, would it not? 3rd and 7 now, and Rivers gets some time and lofts it deep into triple coverage instead of getting a few to keep the drive moving. And can you remind me which 2004 quarterback is washed up and making bad decisions? It all comes down to this. 4th and 7 is a play you have to win if you're a good defense. The Colts are doing everything in their power to neutralize TJ Watt. The simple fact is that somebody not named Trent Jordan needs to beat their man and seal this game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just a nasty spin move off the line by Alexander, and I do mean the great, to make Rivers rush just a hair, and he misfires on what should probably be a completion, but that's what pressure will do for you. And who the hell cares about Phillip Rivers anyways? Your Pittsburgh Steelers are AFC North champions! It's not often that your football team comes back to win when they were down 17 points to a 10-win team. According to ESPN's win probability, at 24-7, the Colts' win probability was 97.9%. That means if you played that game from that point 1,000 times, the Steelers would lose 979 of them. It's hard for me to question things like willpower when I don't do what these guys do for a living. I question strategy, mistakes, age, empirical things. Was I fearful that the Pittsburgh Steelers were on the verge of an epic collapse? Yep, I was. Was I questioning whether my all-time sports hero was capable of being himself any longer? Sadly, painfully, yes, I was. But that was, at the time of this writing, about 9 hours ago. And in that time, the Pittsburgh Steelers came back from a 24-7 deficit with 18 minutes to play to beat a 10-win team who was desperate for the win. I don't know if that was the last time we'll see Large Benjamin put on the cape. Maybe it was the 5th to last time. Maybe it was the 20th to last. All we know for sure is that it is still in there. Here we go. Hey, if you like the channel, please consider subscribing to us on Patreon to support what we do. I have a big slate of off-season content planned, and I would love to experiment with all kinds of new possibilities for you guys. And if you have a Twitch, follow me there too. But most importantly, just keep watching the show. See you next week.